The cell. Cell is a fundamental structural and functional unit of living organisms. Just as the atom is the fundamental unit of all matter, life does not exist in the units smaller than the cells. The viruses exhibit the properties of life only when present in the cells of other organisms. Therefore, the most of biologists consider them not alive when isolated. Every cell arises from pre-existing living cell by cell division. Biochemical studies have identified that every living system is composed of same elements that are present in inorganic world. Though basic elements are same, the difference exists between the living and non-living in the organization of their elements because of ordered, developed energy transformation and conserving system in the living organism. These elements together form complex structure called protoplasm, and it is present in each and every unit of life. The biochemical studies have also identified that the protoplasm in a living system consists not only inorganic elements but also more complex organic molecules such as protein, nucleic acid, fats, and polysaccharides. For the development of such complex organic molecules from inorganic molecules, the smaller functional unit of life, that is a cell, shows the presence of certain definite structure called cell organelles. These cell organelles helps the protoplasmic system to synthesize and utilize these complex organic molecules for growth and development, which is required to maintain the so-called life in the system, even in smallest unit, that is a cell. The cell has its own entity. The cell shows the biochemical entity because cell has a big laboratory consisting different kind of chemicals and 1,000 million reactions carried out in the cell. These reactions may be catabolic reactions, may be anabolic reactions. Therefore, a complex system is there within a cell. So, the cell is considered as a basic unit of life. For this purpose, we are learning in details the aspects of the cell as a unit of life. You can welcome, you are welcome in my channel College Botany, and we will learn the cell is unit of life. I am Yuvraj Kengar and you are studying the cell, a unit of life with me. The cell is the smallest unit of living matter. The cell is the smallest unit having all the properties of life. All organisms are composed of structural and functional unit of life called a cell. The body of some organism like bacteria, protozoans and some algae is made up of a single cell. that are called as unicellular organisms, while the body of fungi, plants, and animals are composed of many cells. They are called multicellular organisms. The cells vary in size and structure as they are specialized to perform different functions, but the basic component of the cell are common to the all cell. The discovery of cell, the scientist Robert Hooke discovered and coined the term cell while examining a thin slice of cork under a compound microscope. The Robert Hooke firstly invented the compound microscope by assembling the lenses. The term cell was derived from Latin word cellular, meaning a room or chamber. In 1672, Antony von Leeuwenhoek firstly observed the bacteria, sperm, and red blood corpuscles. In 1831, Robert Brown observed that the all cell possesses the nucleus. The definition of cell: the cell is structural and functional unit of organism enclosing a bit of protoplast consisting of numerous micro and macroorganic inorganic molecules dissolved or suspended in a colloidal or watery matrix. The molecules are busy in reaction with release or uptake of energy. The protoplasm of a cell is limited by membranes are also called cell membrane or plasma membrane. Every cell shows three major components: cell membrane, cytoplasm, and DNA. The DNA is naked in a prokaryotes and it is covered with a nuclear membrane in a eukaryote. Mature plant cells have in their cytoplasm large vacuole containing non-living inclusions like crystals and pigments, etc. The bacteria have neither the organelles nor well-formed nucleus. The scientist Haeckel established that the nucleus stored and transmit the hereditary traits from generation to generation. The cell theory was the cell theory was jointly put forth by Sheldon and Schwann in 1839 in their paper Microscopic Investigation on Similarities of Structure and Growth in Animals and Plants. They postulated the cell theory as: first, all organisms are composed of one or more cells. Second, cells are basic living units within the organisms and the chemical reactions of the life takes place within a cell. All cells arise from pre-existing cells by division and are not formed de novo. In 1855, the German medical doctor named Rudolf Virchow observed under the microscope the cell division, the cell dividing. He reasoned that the all cells come from other pre-existing cell by cell division. The modern cell theory was put forth by the scientist Haeckel in 1866. The postulates of the modern cell theory are: the cell is the fundamental unit of structure and function in a living organisms. Second, new cells arise from pre-existing cell through division. All new cells contain the same amount of degree of genetic information as contained in the parent cell. Third, the energy flow occurs within a cell. Fourth, the cells contain heredity information which is passed from cell to cell during cell division. Fifth, all cells are basically the same in chemical composition in organisms of similar species. The next, all known living things are made up of one or more cells. Some organisms are made up of only one cell and are known as unicellular organism. All life begins as a single cell. 8. Others are multicellular, composed of number of cells. 9. The activity of an organism depend on the total activity of independent cell. Depending upon a specific requirement, the cells get modified. Example: elongated in muscle and nerve cells, loss of nucleus in RBC, or cytoplasm in outer skin cells. Next point: number, size and shape of a cell. The number of cells. Some organisms are unicellular: bacteria, yeast, chlamydomonas, diatoms, cosmarium, whereas most of the organisms, as plants and animals, are multicellular. Human body is built up of about 1 trillion cells. In a case of unicellular form, a single cell is capable of independent existence and to perform all essential functions of life. In a green alga, Pandorina, the cenobium is having a fixed number of cells, that are 8, 16, 32. The colonies like volvox, nostoc, etc. have many cells enclosed by mucilaginous sheath. A multicellular organism is made up of many cells. Different cells become specialized for performing different functions. The cells are grouped into tissues, tissues into organs, organs into organ system, and organ system form the organism. These are the pictures of Chlamydomonas, the E. coli bacteria, then Cosmarium, Paramecium, the Pedistrum, Spirogyra, then Volvox, Nostoc, Cara, starfish, Hydra, and a plant. The size of cell. Generally, the size of cell ranges between zero point 0.2 micron to 20 micron. The smallest cell is PPLO. Mycoplasma gallisepticum having 0.1 micrometer size. Pleuropneumoni like organism. The bacteria, they are unicellular and about 10 times smaller than animal cell. Escherichia coli, which is a rod-shaped bacteria having size 1 to 2 micron. Protozoans like amoeba having 220 to 760 micron its size. Generally, plant cells are larger than the animal cells. Animal cells range from 10 micron to 30 micron, while plant cells range from 10 micron to 100 micron. Some exceptions are there. Ostrich egg cell has 75 mm long. The Acetibularia, a unicellular green alga, is about 10 cm in the length, and the bast fiber, that is the phloem fiber of some plants, that is Ramia, are about 50 to 55 cm long. A giraffe nerve cell can reach about 2 meter. A cell volume is fairly constant from particular cell type and is independent of size of organism. The difference in the total mass of organ or organism depends upon number, not on the volume of a cell. Then, which cell is larger? The plant cell is larger than animal cell. The animal cell is larger than the bacterial cell. These are the size of some cells. The plant and animal cell size range from 10 micron to the 100 micron, whereas the viruses size range from 10 nanometer to 100 nanometer. Most of the bacteria range is from 1 micron to 10 micron. The cell shape. There is a great variability in a cell shape, that is spherical, polygonal, disc-like, cuboidal, columnar, spindle-like, or fiber-like. Generally, the cells are spherical, but in a multicellular form, due to the pressure, become polyhedral. In a plants, as the cells have cell wall appears hexagonal or polygonal. The cells sometimes change shape because of function as amoeba and leukocytes, while animal cells tend to have irregular shapes. Plant cells are typically rectangular or cube-shaped. These are the some shapes of cells. A type of cells. Dougherty classified the cells into two types, prokaryotes and eukaryote. The pro means primitive, karyon means nucleus, eukaryotes, U means true, karyon means nucleus. This classification is on the basis of structural organization of nucleus. The cells which possesses a primitive type of nucleus devoid of nuclear membrane are prokaryotic cell. On other hand, the eukaryotic cell are those which possesses a true well organized nucleus having nuclear membrane and typical chromosomes. The scientist Dog and associate proposed a third type, mesokaryotic cell, which can be placed in between a prokaryote and eukaryotic cell. The prokaryotic cell, the bacteria exhibit the prokaryotic cell. These are a primitive type of cells. These there is a primitive type of nucleus which is not bounded by nuclear membrane as a true nucleus and is termed as nucleoid. There is no membrane bound cell organelles enfolding of a plasma membrane called mesosomes. The nuclear material lies diffused in central part of a cell. The genetic material consists of DNA, but it is not associated with protein, that is histones. The prokaryotic cells are generally smaller than the eukaryotic cell. The examples: bacteria, archaea, blue-green algae. The eukaryotic cell, in this type of cell organization, there is a definite or true or advanced nucleus having nuclear membrane, nucleoplasm, nucleoli, and chromosomes. The genetic material consists of DNA complexed with a histone protein to form well-developed chromatin or chromosomes. The nucleus has nucleolus. There are different membrane-bound cell organelles such as mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi body, plastids, etc. for different functions. The plastids are present in a plant cell only. The types of cells are in general larger and more organized than the prokaryotic cell. Most of the plants and animal cells fall under this category except blue-green algae. The last type, that is mesokaryotic cells. This type of cells lies in between prokaryote and eukaryote. Some organisms like dinoflagellate, the genetic material is surrounded by nuclear membrane. This character is similar to the eukaryotic cell, but histone protein is not present with the DNA. This character is of a prokaryotic cell. So, intermediate characters are shown in this type of cell, that mesokaryotic cell. The nucleus is larger in size and has been named as mesokaryon by scientist Dog in 1966. These type of cells, which are intermediate between prokaryote and eukaryotic cells. These cells are present in certain algae like Gymnodinium and Pteridinium. The other cell types. Some cells are even smaller than the prokaryotic cell. The smallest known cell is of Mycoplasma gallisepticum, that is PP yellow, also called as Mycoplasma. PP yellow pleuropneumonia like a organism. These are the bacteria. Its size range from 0.1 micron to 0.3 to 0.5 micron. The size of this cell may not be more than 1000 to the 5000 times that of the hydrogen atom. W.V. Eaterson placed PP yellow with bacteria in a group Mycoplasmata. The scientists Novikov and Holzman have excluded them from bacteria and considered them as simplest prokaryotic cell. This is the structure of PP yellow. You can see here the absence of a cell wall, then the membrane is selective permeable, then the cytoplasm has ribosome and enzymes required for protein synthesis and ATP metabolism. The nucleus is absent. However, double-stranded DNA molecule of circular or fibrillary type is present in a PP yellow. It does not need host for complete their life cycle. However, they causes disease to the plants and animal. So this is all about the point the cell is a unit of life. Thank you very much.